Hi, my name is Manuel, and this is my speech, and this is my audience. Okay, in the final year or two of my time in high school, soon as I finish, for sure, I picture myself standing at the end of a childhood, beginning of adulthood peak, or mountain of sorts. That is when I would realize that this is my youth has come to an end, and adulthood would begin with all of its responsibilities. At the same moment, I am aware that I would be able to see that despite learning how to draw the perfect parabola curve, identify various parts of a cell, and write a 5-paragraph essay, I was still clueless on how to do my own taxes. I wouldn't know how to responsibly use a credit card. I wouldn't know how to keep my debt under control or understand how interest can snowball into something unmanageable. And honestly, a lot of us feel that way because most of us was never taught things in school. The reality is that most U.S. students graduate high school without the essential finance knowledge needed for adult life. Many students don't understand interest rates, how to create a simple budget, how credit scores work, or how borrowing money can affect them for years. Because of this, so many young adults learn about personal finance the hard way through trial and error. They make mistakes and take years to fix, and sometimes those mistakes fall into their 20s, 30s, and beyond. This matters for everyone in this room because money becomes a part of all of our daily lives, and the moment you step into adulthood is when it becomes important. You'll have to manage rent, car payments, credit cards, and medical bills, and student loans. You'll have to put money into a bank, save for emergencies, and make choices about what you can afford and what you can't afford. Whether you go to college, start working full-time, or do both, money will affect your future. And understanding how money works before you're thrown into the real world can make your life a whole lot easier. That's why today my thesis is simple. High schools should require financial literacy classes for graduation to better prepare students for real-world financial responsibilities. Because most students have not been exposed to personal finance in school, they often have no idea how to manage their finances on their own. So today I'll talk about the problems caused by lack of finance education and the causes of those problems and the solutions that will realistically prepare students for life. Let's start by looking at the problems that happen when students graduate without financial knowledge. The first problem is that young adults face major financial mistakes early. Young adults are often unaware of how credit operates and fall into high interest loan debt and use buy now, pay later options prior to realizing the costs associated with these options. Many others cannot distinguish legitimate loans from predatory loans due to the lack of guidance to recognize the red flags of predatory lending. The problems listed above are resulted into an educational gap, not poor decision making. The second issue is that poor finance literacy results in long-term instability. When young adults do not have the ability to create a budget or track their spending, it'll become easier to spend excessively, incur unneeded debt, or not to be able to have small amounts over time. Additionally, when individuals are financially literate, it is much harder to work toward long-term objectives, such as purchasing a home, paying back college loans, and developing savings for emergency situations. The research has demonstrated that the negative money habits are developed by young adults in their late teens and early adult years typically affect how they will manage their finance for a long time. To gain insight into this trend continues, we must look at the cause of the shortage of financial education. A significant reason that the financial education is not required in most states, many schools treat financial literacy as an option elective. And some schools only offer short workshop or a brief unit buried inside economics class. Because it is not required, thousands of students graduate without never learning these skills at all. A second cause is that the responsibility for teaching money management is often pushed onto our parents. Schools rely on family to teach children financial literacy at home. Unfortunately, for many families, their parents did not learn how to manage finances well either. Many families do not have the time, money, or the knowledge to teach their kids about personal finance. When students graduate to go out into the real world, most they do not have the financial knowledge and experience to help them in making good decisions regardless of their own finances. We now know the problem and where it comes from. Now we need to think about reasonable ways to fix these problems. One solution is simple. Financial literacy should be a required one semester course to receive your high school diploma. In doing so, in this class, students can learn about practical information needed to live financially responsible, including budgeting, saving, understanding their credit score, and doing their taxes, paying off loans, and also learning the basics of investing. Every person in this country will be using these skills regardless of the career path he or she chooses. Another solution is to take advantage of successful models of curriculum created by other states that have made literacy a graduation requirement. There are many examples of states that have included financial literacy into their graduation requirements and have had success in this program. Examples: Florida, Missouri, and Utah have been a part of this program. The fact that they have been able to successfully implement program into their education system shows that they can be done into other states too. Schools just don't have to start from scratch. There are strong research-based programs ready to be adopted and used. High schools should require financial literacy classes for graduation. Today we examine the problems caused by poor financial knowledge and underlining because the lack of financial education and realistic solutions that would better students for adulthood. We want students to be ready for the real world. Then we should teach them the skills that the real world actually requires a financial literacy class to help them. A financial literacy class isn't just a one requirement, it's a preparation for life. And giving students this knowledge now can spare them years of financial stress later on and help them have a happy life. Thank you, and this is my speech.